Hey y'all, welcome to I got my heart broke and decided to make a podcast. This is episode 3. Fun fact, she didn't ask for it, but it's the same day as the last episode. This is just after I done worked. I would like to talk about communication. This is like the first 3 episodes are like a diary, and it's probably gonna be like that, but I want to have like people on the show. I want to have different perspectives. I just like bouncing ideas off of other people. I like getting other people's perspectives. I mentioned that in the first episode, which I filmed that yesterday. So I didn't expect, and I gave myself a 3 episode cap of like shitty quality. Because it's like I have all the resources. If you don't know me, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about me. But I am a mass communications major. So one of my professors, this man be like pushing podcasts, and stuff like that. So it's crazy. Like, oh, I didn't create the podcast, but I've been playing with the idea of having a podcast since like no crap. Trying not to curse, but since like I first got to college, I've been wanting to have a podcast. Um, it's just, and I didn't have the ideas. I didn't have episode ideas, stuff like that. It's just this one. I'm in a different era of life. I'm 21. I'm about to be 22. I'm getting old. I can't keep saying, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. Man, the opportunities done opened up for me. Like I done worked the BET Awards before. I done been in millionaires' houses. Like I done had so many different opportunities, and it's like, man, I done just sat in my own way. Like people was trying to put me on game, but it was me versus. It's really in your life. It's you versus you, and it was me versus me, and the lower me was winning. You feel me? And I was using all my circumstances as a damn excuse and as to why the fuck I wasn't where I wanted to be. And like, yeah, that shit valid, but man, that shit ain't fully valid. And I say that because it's people that done been in, worse situations that I done been in, but they didn't lock in with their goals and then got to where they want to go. They didn't let shit sidetrack them. And I've found myself doing that many, many, many times. And yeah. So back to, I just got another episode idea, but back to what today's episode is. Today's episode is about communication. And yeah, today's episode is about communication. And just like how everybody communicates differently. So yeah, everyone communicates in a different way. Everybody has a different communication style. And every like part of the United States, they have a different communication style. Every culture has a different communication style. And what makes, I guess, us humans connect the most is communication. Like when you're in a relationship, you want to understand your partner's love language, because their love language is how they communicate, how they receive, and how they feel loved. You also want to learn your partner's anger language. And it's not even just your partners. I always go with partners. But for real, your friends. It's good to learn your friends' love languages. It's good to learn the people you love the most, their love languages, and what makes them feel the most supported. Um, and how you can just, show up for people how they want. So I'm saying all this to say, because I was just talking to somebody and they just pissed me off. That's really what made me start this. I was explaining to the person like, bro, um, I'm trying to not make any assumptions. I'm trying to, like, and that's, anyway, I'm trying to explain to you, I'm trying not to make any assumptions. I'm trying not to jump the gun. I'm trying to just make, a rational decision. Oh. Outside of what it is my emotions are wanting me to do. My emotions are telling me to take a shower, lay in the bed, go to bed. But I recognize, okay, you text me while I'm at work. All right, you said you want to go to the gym. Cool. You also supposed to be doing my hair. You said you got to go take care of some of your business. You should be back at the house by the time I'm back at the house. I'm at the house now. Why the fuck? I'm asking you, what are you, like, how long you finna be? Not because I'm rushing you, but I'm trying to debate. If I'm finna tell you, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, fuck this shit. We'll do this shit another day. You know, so I'm trying to get clarification before I sit there and do what the fuck I want to do. Because I also recognize the world can't be your way or no way. You know what I'm saying? I'm very big on like time and like my own time respectability and shit like that. I don't like waiting on people. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, I got to figure that out for myself. But no, like I'm trying to see, what the fuck I'm gonna do, because I have my own personal time limit, my own personal boundaries, in which, yeah, I'll wait for you for this long, or if not, I'm not waiting for you. We're gonna have to do this another day. And it just made me think everybody doesn't communicate the same, and everybody's not open to receiving your style of communication. It kind of goes back to that, that judgmental shit. If you operate in the state of my way of living is the best way of living, my style of communication is the best, most effective style of communication, you might not be able to reach the people you're supposed to reach. If I were to just operate out of my original style of thinking, which is, okay, this person isn't here on my time, on my terms, and even on around the time that we agreed, I'm finna go do whatever I want to do. I'm finna just cancel the plans. Fuck you. See you later. You know what I'm saying? But if I were to operate from that, I might have read the person the wrong way, and I might not have been able to accomplish the mission in which I and this person were placed into each other's lives. I feel like everybody is placed into your life for a divine reason, and everything happens for a reason. Everything is divine, whether it looks divine or not, So, like, I think there's always two sides to every coin. So it just made me think, like, if I were to have not, because I used to really struggle with communication. I used to suck at it. I'm not gonna lie, and I still am not like the greatest at it, but I know how to communicate. I know how to get my emotions across. I know how to listen to somebody else's emotions and get their perspectives without taking stuff personal. And like, kind of like that judgment episode. I'm trying to, and this is something, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm really heavily working on myself with, because I just hate that I hurt somebody that I care about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate that. So me knowing all of this, it's making me recognize, like, all right, mistakes happen. You gotta be patient and let this person, have trust or whatever they might need to feel safe again to talk to you about anything. But you also got to recognize when you're being judgmental and when you're looking at it just from your lens. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of like saying all of this to say everyone has a different communication style, and what I'm learning, you kind of got to be you got to be open to learn another language. And in that last relationship that I was in, she communicated in a way that I didn't understand at the beginning of meeting her. And after, like, meeting her, and I don't even know what all I know is true about this girl. I ain't even gonna lie. But we'll just, let's say more stuff is true than other stuff. This girl communication style was through Christianity. And this was my interpretation, some shit I wrote to her. But her communication style was through Christianity. This girl was borderline trying to convert me to be a Christian because she wanted me to inherit the kingdom of God, because that is a form of judgment, but we're gonna just look at this is how she communicates, right? So me, being me, I had to understand how she communicates, how she expresses her love. I don't have to do this. I didn't have to do this, but I was reading the Bible and, like, trying to understand her, because, okay, this is what you really practice, what you really believe. This is how you really walk. What can I do to understand you better so that I can determine if I'm even capable of being the best lover to you? Which, another conversation for another day. But I'm reading this, trying to understand your ways, trying to understand what you grew up in, what you saw, what you see now, what your experiences are, what your expectations are, so that I can make the best decision for me and I guess on behalf of you and the love that I have for you, determine if this is the right match or not. And I think, people's religions are a form of them communicating, people understanding people. And that's the biggest thing, I think, is just be understanding instead of just like casting all of these dang on judgments to people. Oh, why do you do this? Why do you like, instead of asking, I guess, why or what are you doing or why would you do that, in such a harsh manner, whether you're outwardly saying it or inwardly saying it, you're still saying it. I don't know. I just think you should just be open to different communication styles. Again, this is not advice. This is really just me talking to myself because, again, this is a one-sided conversation until I check the comments. I don't know if that's fucked up to say or that's really harsh. Like, I'm not taking it in a harsh way. I used to follow somebody that used to say, basically, you used to tell them, we have a parasocial relationship. I do not know that you exist in real life. You do not know me in real life, so don't act like you know me in real life. I'm saying that because I am open to the feedback, but you can't really respond in this moment, which is why I want to have guests and shit on here, because I can hear other perspectives, and I can learn something, I can grow, and they can grow, they can hear my perspective and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't really have much else to say. Other than like communication is like the biggest thing when it comes to being a human, when it comes to growing. You want to figure out how you communicate. And if you want to get on some higher power stuff, how do you communicate the most with God? Like some people, they communicate through writing. Some people communicate through prayer. And I mean, you can write out your prayers, but how do you connect with something that makes you with the highest, how do you connect with somebody with the highest power? I don't know how else to say that. Like, how do you connect with the highest power? Or how do you connect with your highest self? I don't know what you believe in. I do want to be a free for all. Do you write out your prayers? Do you write out your letters to your higher self, or what are you doing? How do you communicate? I think that's a great thing to know, because then you can learn how you communicate. And then unless you meet somebody that doesn't necessarily communicate in the same manner as you, because everybody doesn't necessarily communicate the same, then you can go from there. And I'm learning that too. Like, learning how to just be patient. And man, I'm learning how to just be patient and figure out how people are communicating. And even like other people's frustration with you or how you communicate, you just gotta learn patience within that too. Maybe they're not your people, if they choose to constantly misunderstand you, but at least you tried your best. Who would have known almost 15-minute episode would have came from me being frustrated? But I just think communication is like such an important thing. I don't have extra things to say, I ain't gonna lie. So I hope you guys are, I don't know, I hope you enjoyed the video. I told y'all I told myself, and now I done told y'all, it's a 3-episode cap on the terrible quality, the not being in the mic, the lack of preparedness when it comes to this. So there's no more spontaneous episodes. Now it's just, now I gotta get serious about it, because I done made 3, so now something clearly I like. So let me, while I'm consistent, while I'm thinking about it, because I got that ADHD stuff, all right, let me act on it. It's that. So, yeah. But all right, y'all. See y'all.